This is the trap of meaninglessness. The person who falls into this trap believes that the world is an illusion and subscribes to moral relativism, meaning they might say things like, there is no right or wrong. And they think that everything is an illusion, so it doesn't really matter what you do in life.
Yeah. Hey Earthlings.
Hello, everybody.
This is the trap number 5 from our series, the ego trap that spiritual people fall to. And this is one of the most important ones to be aware of. I consider this one of the most harmful beliefs that a New Ager go through. And there is a split in society between the religious people who dogmatically believe that there is things right and wrong, and no matter what situation you are in, it will be considered wrong. And on the other side, the New Ager would consider everything okay, and there is nothing right and wrong, and everything is relative.
So the harmful thing about this way of seeing the world is that it might completely bypass and undermine the suffering of other people and beings, as well as the negative impact that one has on others. And this person might therefore evade taking any responsibility for their actions, or even caring for how their actions might negatively impact others.
Yeah.
Suffering is an illusion. I talked about the suffering of animals on this planet, and this person said, but what's the problem with suffering? It's part of life.
Yeah. And here where things get problematic, because in this case, this guy is disconnected from animals, but that could be extended to be disconnected from other races, from other nationalities, even from your own family member who you disconnect from. And here where we are creating as human being a lot of suffering and disconnection and disharmony on this planet.
Yeah. So actually this is a state of deep disconnection and dissociation. This person is disconnected from their own passion and joy in life. Meaninglessness is a state of apathy, actually.
Yeah.
So usually this person tends to be quite passive and maybe apathetic.
Yeah.
Not really, it's not that person who is like driven or passionate about something with all their heart. It's not that person.
Yeah. And usually in this situation, people who gone through a lot of trauma, who lost touch with the body, who lost touch with the moment, who lost touch with the truth of this moment, people might have taken so much drugs and so much plant medicine perhaps, and they haven't done the integration that's enough to bring them back to this 3D reality where we can differentiate between what's right and wrong.
Yeah, so there is this like negating the physical experience, you know, as if, because from a higher perspective, you know, like in some other dimension, maybe it seems like this reality is illusionary because we are all these eternal beings, you know, just living in this hologram. But it doesn't make this experience less real and less meaningful. There is a reason why we are in this hologram. It's not just a pastime in a way, you know.
It's not an accident and we are like out of nowhere and no reason we are here. It's not that we don't have free will, which many people who subscribe to this harmful beliefs believe that we have no free will.
Exactly. Yeah. Which kind of makes everything in this existence meaningless, because if you don't have a free will, then you might just as well do anything. Don't get out of bed in the morning. Don't care about your actions. You know, there's no punishment, there's no consequence, which we also don't think that there's punishment, but, you know, we are here to learn.
Yeah.
So this experience is extremely meaningful. Perhaps it is the most meaningful thing that can happen in the universe.
Yeah. Also, many people who have this belief subscribe to Solipsism, which meaning that I'm the only creator of everything around me and nothing else is real, only me. And from my own research, I don't know if there is like enough scientific statistic about that, but I believe this is one of the leading cause of suicide. That people feel this meaningless of life and feel that there is nothing that they can do about it and everything their creation, so they become so miserably alone, and the only way out is just to end this mental cycle of suffering.
It's interesting because both Ram and I have had a glimpse of this perspective on a plant medicine journey, and I believe that we were shown that as a way to understand how the ego perceives oneness and God. Because, you know, it is so day and night, really. Like when you start to understand what unity means, it is a bliss. It is a feeling state versus this state of that both of us experienced on plant medicine once is where you kind of realize that you have the perspective of, oh, I am God, it's a mental understanding, but it's the I am God, it's confused as the ego is the God.
Yeah.
And therefore everything around is not, or is some kind of projection, and you're the only thing that is real. This is a terrifying state to be in.
It's really
Very
terrifying. I was
terrifying.
one of the most scary journey I went to, and I feel like I went there for a reason, to see the contrast of the real aliveness of what love and unity mean, and what's the complete separation and complete loneliness, which felt horrible at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So why do people develop this kind of attitude in life? It's not an accident either. People who've experienced severe trauma, who basically disconnect from life as a protection mechanism. It is to say, I don't really want to commit to this life here and to the physicality, so I better subscribe to ideas that it doesn't really matter, so that I can feel good about not being embodied, not taking action.
Yeah. Not facing the painful situation that people at, which can be very overwhelming for the system. So if they drop this protection mechanism of reality and right and wrong and what I have done and what I have contributed maybe to the suffering of others, if the people actually face that, there will be so much pain and so much crying. And we both have been into a lot of those journey where we cry our eyes off. Like we had episode of releasing pain and grief and sadness and anger and so much heaviness in the body. And if people are not willing to go there and to feel that, it's so much easier to subscribe to this and believe this harmful belief.
Yeah, one of those big moments for me was when I really was willing to see what is happening to other beings on this planet and feel them, and to acknowledge that I am doing that. It is me who is contributing to this horror.
Yeah.
It's like a horror movie when you realize that, and I cried so much. This was one of those things, where I realized that what I do matters, that I could have, because this is one of the areas where people are just kind of like apathetic about it, or like, it's okay,
Yeah.
it's just
There
food.
is also a belief linked to that one, like a man can do nothing to change the world. This is also one of the belief that's linked to this dysfunctional state.
So people in this state of being have experienced extreme powerlessness usually in their childhood, where they really couldn't go towards their joy and passion, so they disconnected from that experience altogether, or there was a lot of physical abuse perhaps, so that they are dissociated actually from the physical reality.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of resistance in coming here and committing to being on Earth.
As this is the 5th video of this series, we really recommend you to go to watch the earlier one, because we talked about why it's so important to be aware of those traps, and you will learn so much from them. And of course, if you want to see more, subscribe to see the next 3 coming videos on the series. And we have tons of other materials about community, healing, traveling, plant medicine, and much more.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it actually that the world is an illusion? And can we do something about it? Do we live in a hologram? Are you real?
The way I look at it is like, this expression is real.
Yeah. How do you know that it's real? Through your emotions, your feelings. Your feelings are an indicator of what's true and not. And this is why it's so essential to come back to the body, so you can experience the reality through those sensations, through those feelings. So this is what gives you an actual indicator of this is real. And this is why also many people who subscribe to this like harmful belief of nothing right and wrong, they are not connected to their body. They act from here up. Only the mind. And this is very dangerous, because this is becoming so common nowadays, especially with the scientism beliefs and the scientism movement. It's really scary. And we need to do something about it.
And again, it doesn't mean that this is the ultimate reality, The whole key here is that, yes, there is something beyond that is more of a permanent nature than this physical reality, but it doesn't mean that this experience isn't real and isn't serving us.
Yeah. And also part of the expansion is to evolve and expand beyond this reality and not be stuck to it. And this is why we really value integration, and we teach and we share about integration is the most important thing, because all the different reality and aspect that we can reach are all real and all part of our human experience. And most important one is to start from the body, the 3D, where we are mostly at, and evolve higher. And that starts from feeling and being present in the body.
You can't skip the body, guys.
Yeah.
Like, that is the first level. If you think that you
first
can take
lesson.
plant medicine and
Yeah.
just go to higher dimension and hang out there, you're missing the point. You're not
Yeah.
climbing the ladder, actually. It starts from the body.
Oh.
And is there right or wrong? Right and wrong? The way I view this is that it is not absolutes, in the sense that every situation is unique and new. However, there is actions that are in alignment or out of alignment. With in alignment, I mean actions that are in alignment with the, you might call it the divine will, and your own higher good, and therefore the highest good of all. And out of alignment is actions that create more separation, to create pain and suffering in yourself and therefore others. And it is allowed to have that experience too. You're allowed to go out of alignment. That's the only way that you could use your free will to choose alignment, actually. So you have to have that, permission to do that. So it's not wrong in that way. It's not like you are doing something wrong. It's more like you are choosing separation and therefore creating harm and which creates somehow karma, I guess, the way I understand it.
I feel this is the most valuable point in the whole video, and I would really like to emphasize on. The question is why the universe wants to be in alignment and not just like hang out in the disalignment. And from my perspective, because now we are reaching a point where we are enough separation and enough fragmentation, and we are going back to source to be more integrated with the divine being, with the creator. So we are called to go back and complete the circle, and this is why this path is calling us to be more alignment, more in integrity, more in truth, and coming back to source. And that's the only way to be in truth, to be in integrity, to be in alignment. And the only way we can go this way, if we have free will, if we have had the experience to choose what's in alignment and what's not, and we can discern which direction we are heading.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. Beautiful fragments of source. I hope that you enjoyed this video and subscribe.
If you reach the end, you must be a miracle.
Subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and like this video. Help us to reach more people.
Yeah, share it, and there is way more waiting in our channel. Check this list here about the all ego tribe. That's so important, and let us know if any of that, what we shared today, applies to you or somebody you know. We love you so much, and see you in the next one.
Bye
Ciao.
bye.